I'm devastated that I don't have accessories today.
What do you mean?
How are we showing up at Ralph's without
have-
sunglasses and a hat?
You have Bianca's bungee cord.
My bungee cord, belly chain? I know, it is a look. That's gonna be your next line at Island to East Side. Stop joking.
Belly chains, bungee cord, belly chain.
Make sure it's called the Bianca bungee cord belly
I will
chain.
make sure of it. I need a cup of coffee more than I've ever needed one in my life
Pretty
after
big.
that.
I agree with that. It's chilly. Whew. So, what's the latest and greatest?
The latest and greatest. Well, I'm glad the walk started off with a laugh because I really needed it after last night.
What happened last night?
Gab came over and, we just got into one of those conversations that I love to have.
How many bottles of champagne were you
No
in during this
champagne.
conversation?
Kim Crawford.
Oh, little
Yeah.
Kimmy C, huh?
Little Kimmy C.
I know that's your favorite.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did we talk about?
So actually, Gab really stirred the pot last night.
She loves doing that.
Loves to do that.
How did we stir the pot?
Her and I were actually having a meeting. Then
Okay.
John came home. He was at a work dinner. And I don't know, I feel like it's natural that, the wedding's coming up and everyone is hounding us in like a loving way about like when we're gonna have kids and start a family.
We didn't even get to the wedding yet.
No, we didn't. But I mean, this is what happens.
Okay.
And
You're a few months out, so it's like,
a
let's
few
get a
months
bun
out.
in the oven there?
Yeah, let's
Okay,
let's
got
start
it.
hounding now.
Understood.
And it started off, Gab was making jokes about Brittany being the Island's East Side nanny, and then that turned into like a serious conversation.
Okay.
You know where I'm going with this.
I know where you're going with
Yeah.
this. But
Like-
bring it home.
Yeah. Are we gonna move to the suburbs after the wedding?
Of course.
I'm not going anywhere.
Because you can't have kids in the city.
Because you can't have kids
No.
in the city. You're gonna have to
Unfathomable.
drag me out of the city by my hair.
Oh, yeah. You'll be
Um,
holding on to the door handle.
So the age-old favorite conversation about the suburbs and the city, and
Okay.
I don't know, but in all seriousness, I feel like a lot of what I wanted for myself and for my future, I think changed after I started owning my own business and after Island to Eastside not only launched but also started becoming successful to the level that it is now.
Of course.
And I think that when I was in my earlier to even mid-20s, that I saw myself leading a more, I guess you can say, traditional lifestyle, and that I would be married by this age and have this many kids by that age and all of that, and that's obviously drastically changed.
Did you think at one point before Island to Eastside you wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, or
Yeah, I did.
really?
And now,
When would you say that changed? I know you're really cackling there.
Yeah.
We've moved very far from that.
and now,
okay.
no,
When
I'm
did
like,
that change for you?
I would say, I think it honestly might have even changed before. Look, nobody wants me to even talk about this.
No.
I
do.
I think that it probably changed right before I launched Island to Eastside, because even then I saw in like the fashion corporate world how hard it was to have it all. I think despite what some people say, it's difficult to be a full-time mom and worry about your career full-time.
Yep.
I've said this to you before, you can't be everything to everyone.
No.
And I think that it goes without saying that the both of us, meaning me and you,
Yes.
grew up in very traditional Italian families.
Yes.
Where family was everything, and I think both of
course.
us, Lord knows it, have very strong mothers.
Very strong mothers.
Who were the caretakers.
Yep.
And I don't know, I think I always saw that for myself until probably the past 6, 7 years, maybe 8.
Okay. Yeah, I think, when I think about I've learned so much from my mom, and she's like such an inspiration to the way I run my business and what I want my life to look like. And, you know, I feel like sometimes, especially now because my business has changed so much, her tone with me has changed a little bit. You know, Carolyn loves her.
Oh, shout out to
speeches.
Carolyn.
Shout out to Carolyn.
I've gotten a speech or two from Carolyn.
A few, yeah. When you're ready for them and when you're not. She doesn't care.
That is true. There's no holding back.
There
My
is no
mom's
holding
the same
back.
way though.
But I think, you know, she, as a single mother, who really built so much of her business and paved her way for women in finance after her and my father got divorced, like I saw how she was able to be a phenomenal mom, be at all the PTA meetings, all the sports games, but also have an incredible work life as well. And I think that's kind of what motivates me a little bit of like, I want to be as strong of a woman as she is.
Oh, for sure. She set an amazing example for you guys. And I'm sure, as I think she said to me directly before, that she probably felt judged for it at one point or another.
Absolutely.
Because, I can say this, I'm not from there, but the town that you come from, I think, is primarily
a little more traditional.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, like now as she sees like how much I'm working and as I've jumped in, I think she's trying to, I feel like I'm constantly getting lectured by her of like finding the right balance. And I think that's
I
very,
don't
very
think
hard
that she wants you to be
do.
exactly as independent as she was, but I do think that she was a strong example for what it's like to, I guess, redefine having it all.
Yes.
Right? Because I don't know, I guess like that concept in and of itself, I heard somebody say something the other day, the second that you stop worrying about having it all, that you do.
Yeah.
And it is true, because who defines what having it all is?
Exactly.
But I think that I personally, and I've done a lot of work on this, and you know that, I think that it's really hard sometimes to tune out the outside voices.
Yes. Yeah, especially when there's so many voices coming from so many different directions, and Anthony's voices and intentions are different than my mom's. Are different from different friend groups.
Well, yeah, because it's what serves them. I think it's hard to also.
That's a very good point.
Be objective when you know your partners with someone. Like obviously, of course, Anthony and John are going to come from the place of like,
we should be the priority.
Imposing upon you what works in their best interest. And I guess like, you know, of course our moms are doing that from their lens too. Like what worked or didn't work for them, or what they wish they did or didn't do. And
I think I've reached a point right now where like I'm so confident and you're so confident. But you have like these moments of doubts of like, shit, is this the right decision? Like, should I be jumping full in this? Like, should I be putting all my eggs in this basket? Should this be my number one focus?
I would say it's like a quarterly crisis.
Oh.
Like maybe 4 times a year, I'm like, all right, it's time for me to do the check-in with myself, worry about if I'm where I think I should be or where John thinks I should be. Are we where we should be?
Yeah, and that takes a lot of communication.
Yeah, a lot of communication.
And self-awareness.
Yes. But it's hard. I don't think it's easy. I always say, like, you know, it's a burden enough to, like, really, I guess, like, be self-aware enough to know what you want. It's another burden to communicate that clearly to someone else.
Yes.
And then
another to make sure that partner is on the same page with you as you're communicating, because it is changing.
Totally.
I guess quarterly.
And then, you know, to like lastly worry about what other people are thinking or to then kind of have that even cloud your vision any further. It's confusing sometimes.
Absolutely.
And I think, you know, we're all human and vulnerable. Like, I think that it's hard to sometimes tune out those voices. And
Yeah, so then it's when do you listen to people and when do you not? You know, right now I feel like I'm experiencing this with my siblings, and I imagine, truthfully, it's probably a very different experience with you because your sisters are involved in your business, and you're all very similar age, and you all have similar interests. And I feel like for the first time, I'm getting a lot of pressure from my brother and sister because they're seeing it differently, and their opinions really matter to me. You know, it's finding the people you should actually be listening to, and you're like,
Totally.
shit, when your brother and sister and your mom are saying something, like, who actually gets it and who doesn't, and who sees the vision, and so it's really weighing all of that out.
I think a lot of times too, I learned this, I feel like, actually ironically enough, when we started wedding planning, that like often when you ask someone else what they like think of a situation or what their opinion is on something, you're usually more than not just looking for them to like validate what you're doing. And I think it's really hard when you're already uncertain to be going to people who you know aren't going to validate exactly what you're hoping that they do. And I don't know, I feel like in business, going back to your point about confidence, like I don't think, you know I don't have enough time to be like second guessing myself in everything I do at every decision and turn and corner. And like, you do need to get to a point that you accept personally and professionally that not everyone is going to agree with all of your choices.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. So where did we end off with Gab? Is she and John? Are we all on the same path? Are we all agreeing on Christina's choices or not? We're saving that for another day.
I mean, Gab definitely agrees with me. And John?
She knows the deal.
She knows it. John knows the deal.
He knows the deal too.
He knows the deal.
Oh my gosh, the park is beautiful today. I'm devastated that I don't have accessories today. I'm devastated that I don't have accessories today.
What do you mean?
How are we showing up at Ralph's without sunglasses and a hat?
You have Bianca's bungee cord.
My bungee cord belly chain?